On this episode of ResiWeek, CES 2021 plans, Cedia's got a brand new website, and how to sell 8K. All this and more on this episode of ResiWeek.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is ResiWeek, episode 227, Don't Sell 8K.
Support for AVNation is brought to you by
Blackwire Designs, the go-to distributor for the CI industry with an extensive product lineup backed by unmatched sales and system support. Anytime dealers need it, even after hours or on the weekend.
Hey, welcome to ResiWeek. This is your weekly wrap-up of all the latest news and stories for the residential AV industry. I'm your host, Matt D. Scott for AVNation.tv. This week, we are pleased to be joined by three of my favorite people. We've got my sister, Heather Sidorowicz. She is the president of Southtown AV. How are you, ma'am?
Hi, I am reporting from my office and not my dining room table, so I am thrilled.
Yeah, this is not the look I'm used to.
I know. We're back. We're back.
Where's
baby.
the fireplace?
Right?
You should put a fireplace in there now.
I should put a fireplace in here.
I would. Then we have Walt Zerbe. He is the Senior Director of Technology and Standards at Cedia. How are you, sir?
Hey, I am great, Matt. Thank you very much.
And lastly, but certainly not least, we have Alex Capasalatro. He is the founder of Josh AI. How are you, sir?
Doing great. It's good to be here.
Thank you so much for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to kick this show off with some good and maybe interesting news. This comes to us from CNET CES 2021. Plans to be live in Las Vegas, both physically and digitally. If you don't know who or what CES is, you are listening to the wrong show. But CES is arguably the largest consumer technology show in the world. Routinely gets something in the neighborhood. Walt, correct me if I'm wrong on this. Like 125 to 145,000 people attend this show in Vegas every year.
It's actually 180, and they capped it at 185 because it was getting too crowded. And last year was 3.1 million square feet.
Good God, that's why Walt is here, because he spends a lot of time on that show floor. Essentially, what they're planning to do in going ahead with this is take a bunch of steps. The CTA has outlined a bunch of these steps that they're going to take to try and keep attendees as healthy as possible at the conference. Again, this is going to take place in January of this coming year. Those steps include more sanitation, spaces throughout the show, wider aisles in the exhibit area, and greater seat spacing at conference programs, cashless systems for purchases, thermal scans at entry, and better on-site health services and medical aid. Now, this is one of the few tech shows that I have personally never attended, and Heather, I know, I've just never gone. Probably because there's 185,000 people there.
You still got to go just to have the experience.
And the amazing part is, before all of this started, we had this on our schedule for this coming year. I don't know if it's still on our schedule, but it was on our schedule. A shout out to some of the members of the CTA who had been harassing myself and Tim about not attending. But Heather, when you see this, this is the first time I've talked to you in months where you've been in your office.
Truth.
We are just starting to open up in Ontario. California is still heavily closed. Most places are closed from this. Does this shock you? Does this surprise you? Are you going to potentially attend?
Well, a few notes about CES. CES is actually where I learned not to touch my face, because anyone that's gone to CES, we would call it the CES flu. So already by going with so many people in so much space, you were already mostly guaranteed to get sick. So the last time I was at CES, I was so nervous about it that I consciously for days upon end didn't touch my face, washed my hands a million times. So I was ready for Corona when it happened, because I had already broken that habit. So now also anyone that's there knows that there's going to be you're not going to be 6 feet away from anybody. I mean, it is a lot of people a lot of the time. How they can manage that, I I don't know. But again, I'm also of the belief that if you don't touch your face and wash your hands, you're not going to get it anyway, unless you're sneezed upon. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword. Would I go? I wouldn't go anyway necessarily unless I was brought in to write about it. But I wouldn't go for my business specifically because it's so big and so massive about cell phones and dishwashers and everything else connected that I just didn't find a connection for my personal business anymore.
I understand that. Walt, you attend, you guys broadcast from the floor a bunch. You cover it arguably better than half the reporters that go to the show.
Jeez, thank you.
Like it wasn't a lie, but it's very relative what you share when you're at the show. But tell us what you expect to see from this, but also I honestly just find this a little comical. Although I haven't gone to CES, I've been to NAB and gone to NAB for years, and that is an equally, not equally, but almost as large of a show. And the concept that you are going to have any semblance of space is just comical at best.
Yeah. So I was trying to, when I read all these articles, I was thinking there's no way that's going to happen. I've gone to CES, I don't know, maybe 16 or 18 years in a row. And when I had my integration business, it wasn't the right show for me to go to. Expo was the right show, CEDIA Expo, as well as ISE, because it was stuff that was more directed to my business. And a lot of things in CES are very future looking, and you can't get it right now. And there's a lot of segments, but needless to say, we need to be there to see trends and what's going on. And there's no way you're going to be keeping 6-foot distances between people at this show. You've got also shuttles. So it's the convention center, it's the Sands, it's the area hotel, and you have to shuttle between all these places. One of the places to be is is Eureka Park. That's where all the startups are. There's like thousands of them there, and you got to get there through a shuttle from the convention center or a cab or taxi, something. So I don't think they're going to be distancing. I don't know how they're going to do that, but I also don't know how they would do that show virtually, to be honest with you, because it is all about seeing and moving around.
And it is incredible from that aspect.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time I ever went was the year 2000, where they talked about Palm OS and Bluetooth. You see things certainly years before they're on the market. That is the reason to go. And for Walt and CEDIA, absolutely, for them to go and report, Walt, don't touch your face.
Well, this was the first year I got sick. In fact, this is the first year everybody got sick. That went in my little, contingency. And we were down for like a month and a half with respiratory issues, which was really interesting.
All right. Have you been tested for corona?
Nope. But
might have the antibodies.
I had a Corona beer the other night, but that's about it. But anyway, we're thinking.
And I'll admit, I hate CES from a cesspool perspective of you just get what everyone's got. I got so sick this year, and I did get the antibody test after, negative. So it was not COVID. That being said, I really hope this is wishful thinking that things are going to get good enough that the event can happen. It's hard to believe. I want to quickly share a graph. I checked with Mitch. He said he's going to be able to put it up in the video. But right now, stores are opening, restaurants are opening. We think things are getting better, right? I do a weekly sort of update for my team of what's happening with coronavirus and everything else. I want to share with you guys a graph really quick about what's going on right now in the United States. Sorry, Matt, I didn't check on Canada, but this is crazy. What we're seeing here is on the left, the United States numbers were kind of flat, even going down. And in the last couple days, it went up tenfold. I mean, this is crazy. These are numbers reported from the CDC, and this is off Microsoft Bing's COVID chart. It's possible the data is wrong. It's possible this is not accurate, but everything I checked is saying this is accurate. I'm showing on the right the New York slide just to see, is this simply a blip in New York, like New York was having such rough times? And it's not. New York is down. New York's doing just fine. This tells me that we're highly optimistic about opening up. We're highly optimistic that things are getting better. And until there's a vaccine, I am not going to be going to a conference with over 100,000 people. And there's no way we're going to have a vaccine in January. At least that's my take on it.
Alex, do you think that due to the time frame, right? We just turned into June. They've got 6 months before they have to produce a digital version of this. In that time frame, there will be Infocom, which starts their digital conference next week. We have CEDIA Expo is going to be digital in September. There will be a couple of other shows in between there, but from the tech standpoint, those are the big ones. Do you think that this time frame is going to give CTA enough time to make sure that the CES digital content is phenomenal or acceptable even?
Honestly, I think 100%. In all honesty, there are usually no more than 10 to 20 important sort of product announcements and updates that are really important and very relevant to most people. Of course, the long tail is long. There are thousands of interesting little snippets here and there. But I think you can definitely have the CES Best of Awards digitally where you show off. In that case, I think it's even bigger, like 50 to 100 new products. And I think they'll be able to do a really cool, just remote virtual experience. I also think about, we all watch Apple's keynotes virtually and Google I/O virtually. I think you can do some amazing digital events that are better than the in-person stuff. Because let's be honest, 100,000 people are not able to catch Samsung's keynote or whoever's doing the keynote. So I do think this is a good opportunity to get the word out to more people and more efficiently. That said, I just think the idea of going to Las Vegas in January for this show is a crazy idea at this point.
Hey, thanks for watching the first segment of this week's episode. To catch the entire show, please click the link below or visit avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv.